Hello, my friends. Long time no see. It's been a while since it's been just you and me, man to man, face to face. Oh yeah, it's solo time. It's a solo episode. Woohoo! And today's topic is alcohol. Alcohol cravings, what needs they are covering up and trying to fulfill, but ultimately often failing to do so and leaving us even worse off than before the bottles of booze. We will explore ways to identify these hidden needs and alternative ways to fulfill them that do not involve alcohol. If you don't drink, if you're someone who doesn't drink and this is not a problem for you, you can equally replace the word alcohol with various other addictive substances and behaviors such as pornography or gambling or whatever your vice happens to be. But today we're going to be talking about alcohol and how to understand what those cravings really are and how to redirect them down a path that better serves who you really want to be. This is episode 73. Let's talk about alcohol cravings and the hidden underlying needs and desires that often fuel them. Oftentimes, this is all unconscious, things below our awareness that are driving us forward towards the booze in order to fulfill those needs. So we'll have to talk about those needs. What are they? Basic things like hunger and thirst, social connection, movement, and on and on. But before we do that, we should first visit neuroanatomy land and talk about how action, how cravings, how habits and routines and impulses and all of these things happen in the brain. And then by understanding these parts of the machine, we can alter them with various behaviors and substances and experiences so that we don't have to alter them via alcohol. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's start with the big bad PFC, and it's not bad at all. It's a really good guy. The prefrontal cortex, that piece of meat right behind your skull, in the front of your head, the outer layer of your brain, just right behind your forehead, behind your eyes. What does this piece do? What does this piece of the machine do? It does a lot of things, but what concerns us today in terms of habits and actions and cravings and impulses and all of that kind of thing is this is the part of the brain that when it's activated, it allows us to engage in decision-making, intentional action, planned out behaviors. This is sort of where we don't just rely on the past, the things that worked in the past, our habits and whatever felt good and all of that, whatever worked back then. The autopilot. This is not autopilot. This is the future. This is a possibility. This is us redirecting things. This is us slowing down and saying, whoa, I want to go over here. I'm going to choose this. And that's all great. We all want that. But this part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, is not always activated. It gets deactivated via various things like lack of sleep, poor nutrition, dangerous environments, trauma, on and on. We're not going to go too deep into that. But the main point here is, by engaging this part of the brain, charging it up via sleep and healthy foods and healthy, safe social connections, human touch, etc., we can have that there to protect us from our impulses and cravings. This is the part of the brain that says, shh, quiet down. You guys got to go to sleep. Stop. It's not a good idea. Yeah, that might have worked in the past, but we don't want life to be like the past. We want to go move into the future, into somewhere new. So we're going to say stop. Yeah, it inhibits a lot of the other parts of the brain. In particular, in the case of alcohol cravings, this little piece of the brain, just about the size of a gumball or something, right where the neck meets the head, right there in the back of your neck, top back of your neck, this mesolimbic reward pathway. Let's not get too much into the technical jargon, but for you aficionados out there, what we're talking about here is the basal ganglia, the ventral tegmentum, this whole network, which is basically fueled by, running on, chock full of dopamine. If we zoom in on the basal ganglia, we have a couple structures in there. One is the striatum, which can be further broken down into the dorsal striatum, the top part, dorsal fin, and the ventral striatum. And within that ventral striatum, if we zoom in even further, we got the nucleus accumbens. This is this is the pleasure center of the brain. This is where, the dopamine from a bit further down, just right there, right below the basal ganglia, the ventral tegmentum. This is all in the back of the head, in the center back of the head, on the back of your neck. The dopamine is largely produced in this ventral tegmentum. It shoots up into the basal ganglia, in particular the substantia nigra, where movement takes place, where the neurons that are damaged in conditions like Parkinson's and Huntington's are nigra, because it's black, has a lot of melanin there, creating a lot of dark meat, and that's where a lot of these dopamine neurons are. We don't need to go much further down this path, but the point is, impulses and routines and habits and addictions, there's a physical place in the brain where those take place. A piece of the brain, this basal ganglia, that we inherited from dinosaurs. It's been there this whole time. All that conscious, rational, future-oriented, linguistic, concept-based stuff, the free will, if you want to call it that does not exist here. This just runs on autopilot. It's a freaking machine. It doesn't even know what alcohol is. It doesn't even probably know the difference between alcohol and exercise and Netflix and pornography. It's just like, it reads a single currency, dopamine, and other neurotransmitters. I promise we'll get away from this neuroanatomy land very soon, but an interesting thing to remember is, within this basal ganglia, this little gumball, don't eat it. That's going to be way too much dopamine. You're going to get cracked out. It could be addictive. I bet if we can just consume basal ganglias, that would be the new crack cocaine. No, what am I talking about? Okay, so that striatum can be broken down into two basic regions. The top part, the dorsal striatum, and the bottom part, the ventral striatum. The ventral striatum is home to, yes, the nucleus accumbens, which is an important player in everything addiction, dopamine, reward, pleasure related. But it's this whole general region and beyond. And this is interesting. And you're like, dude, let's talk about alcohol. Yeah. We'll get there. This does relate because the dorsal part, the top part of that little striatum, is where our routines and habits are. These are the things that are sort of automatic, time-tested, things that have worked in the past, that have been rewarding, that have fulfilled our needs. And when this piece of the brain is activated and the prefrontal cortex cannot stop it, because that's shut down for whatever reason, lack of sleep, dangerous environment, bad nutrition, maybe you smoked a cigarette, maybe you're whacking off to some porn, I don't know, whatever, you've turned that thing off, and now you're in this sort of dinosaur land down here, and these dopamine neurons are all lighting up. Yeah, because you can't engage in this sort of willful, thought-out, pre-planned action of your choosing anymore, because that the PFC, the prefrontal cortex, is kind of shut down, deactivated. You're going down into this more, reptilian part of yourself that's full of either impulses or routines, habits. The routines are more in the top part of this striatum, the dorsal striatum. And then the impulses, just the raw, ooh, look at that sugar, I want to eat it. Look at that creature, I want to bang it, etc. Those impulses are down there in the ventral striatum. The ventral striatum is home to the nucleus accumbens. So when you see something or you think of something that is pleasurable, something that you impulsively want to go towards, this little tiny part of the brain is activated. You do those things enough, keep drinking, it almost stops being an impulse and it becomes a routine, it becomes a habit, it becomes an addiction, which the brain kind of loves because this little gumball size of the piece of the brain does not require that much energy. Nothing compared to the prefrontal cortex. This big human ape thing behind our forehead is a battery sucker. It takes so much energy to run that thing. It's a supercomputer eating up electricity. So to make conscious, willful decisions and actions, that's not easy. It comes at a cost. It comes at an energy cost. So when the brain can be like, okay, let's turn that off and put things on autopilot, redirect, put the prefrontal cortex to sleep, and give the car keys to the basal ganglia, in particular the dorsal striatum, where the habits and routines live, we can just go on autopilot. This is where the past lives. Yeah, it all connects up with everything else, the amygdala, the hippocampus, the memory centers spread throughout the brain, etc. But this is sort of the go button that pushes us into action, scripted by the past. And it's no coincidence that the substantia nigra, the movement center of the brain, remember that piece that gets jacked up in things like Parkinson's, is right there next to it, connected up with it, just a stone throw away. And it's right there next to the spine, which sends the electricity down into your limbs and your muscles to make you move. But this button right there at the top of your neck is an autopilot button, directed by the past. What felt good back then, what worked back then, what helped you escape the pain, and what helped you seemingly fulfill your needs, your social needs, your survival needs, your biopsychosocial needs. Even if it is dragging you down, it worked. It got you there. And you might recognize, yeah, that was not a good plan. That didn't really take me where I want to go. This human, this me that's up here in the PFC. But as far as the little reptile, the dinosaur down there is concerned, the job got done. So let's just keep that thing surviving. And when the prefrontal cortex is shut down because of lack of social connection or nutrition or sleep or light or movement or whatever, all those healthy things, we kind of forget about who we are and what we want, and that there is a future, that things could go in a different direction, that free will does exist. So yeah, that little neuroanatomy thing probably went on a little bit further than I planned, but this all will tie back up to the needs and the cravings that false promise to fulfill them. We're talking about really, really basic things like water, vitamins and minerals, sex, sleep, touch, movement. When the prefrontal cortex is not engaged, you're going to try to fulfill all these needs in the easiest, basic, most primal way. Not in the way that's going to serve your future, but in the way that's going to serve your present right now. Let's first talk about water, because water kind of looks like alcohol, and I mean, beer is 97% water. You got to ask yourself, when you're in the grips of alcohol cravings, what is it that I really want right now? Yeah, you're going to have to think about this. And remember, thinking is happening in that top front outer layer of your brain, the prefrontal cortex. You might not be able to turn it on so easily. It might be hard to think when you're in the grips of impulse and desire and craving, and just like, oh, it feels so good. I want it now. It might be hard to think, but just try. Or try to think when you can. Maybe write this down so that when you get into reptile mode, you can refer to this. Almost like in that movie Memento, he puts those tattoos on his body to remind him of what he will not remember later on. One big need, which everything on Earth needs, right? Plants and everything, is water. This is a no-brainer, but I feel like half the time I want alcohol. Even half the time I want food. Half the time I want sex or pornography or anything. I'm just thirsty. I want some water. So ask yourself, am I just thirsty? And if you don't know consciously, you can test it out with actual behavior. Drink something. Drink some water. Drink some juice. If the water is just not compelling enough, if you need something tasty, find some drink. Maybe it's a non-alcoholic beer. Maybe it's, I don't know. I like tonic water. Tonic water seems to work for me. When you're about to grab that alcohol with your right hand, slap that hand away and lift up your left hand and grab another tasty drink. Even allow yourself to splurge and buy that drink that costs $2. Oh my God, $2 that you never let yourself buy. But remember, you're trying to stop drinking alcohol. So do what you got to do. Yeah, ideally you can just grab a glass of water, hydrate in the cheapest, healthiest, most efficient way. But it might take you time to get there. So start where you can start. It might be a tonic water. It might be water with lemon. It might require you to spend some money. So if that's what it takes, buy that little juicy juice, the junk that's maybe the lesser evil than alcohol. It might have to have sugar in it. It might be a non-alcoholic beer. Whatever. Start where you can start. And by buying a drink that you normally would never let yourself get, it costs $1 more or something. That's also going to spark the dopamine that you're seeking, right? Novelty, your expectations being surpassed. It's like, whoa, this surprise feeling, this happiness from things being different, better than you expected, something new. That's going to feel good. And plus, you're going to get hydrated. So you're going to be fulfilling a couple of different needs, hydration, but also this seeking of novelty and adventure and surprise and excitement. So spark that dopamine, quench that thirst, grab a drink, grab one you like. 2 is vitamins and minerals, nutrition. Whenever we are lacking in a certain vitamin or mineral or nutrient, our body's going to unconsciously chase it, hunt it down. I mean, why do elephants drink that muddy water in the middle of the jungle? Who would want to drink that? Well, part of the reason is all that salt in there. They need that salt. Why are you craving that processed junk? Maybe you also need a little bit of salt. One desire is often hidden by another desire. We have a conscious idea, linguistic interpretation of what we need. I'm saying, I need that McDonald's. I need that beer. I need that pornography. But oftentimes, underlying that surface level desire is something deeper, something more basic, something more shared by the entire animal and perhaps plant kingdom. So maybe you're missing some mineral or vitamin, something like zinc, magnesium. There's a bunch of them that easily get depleted, and we don't want alcohol. We just want a properly functioning brain and body that requires certain inputs that we can receive via food. And to solve this problem, you can try eating some food, eating certain foods instead of drinking alcohol. I know it's going to be hard to grab the healthiest thing, the thing that's really going to do the trick when you're in the grips of craving and addiction. So it might require, a hamburger or some candy or something that's bad but less bad for you. And then iterate bit by bit by bit by bit until you end up eating some freaking raw fish or fresh vegetables or something. And everyone's going to have a different food that really lights up their brain in the positive way that brings us into the future that we want. In my case, oh my God, I'm so thankful to have discovered this, it's fish. When I eat fish, in particular raw fish and small fish, I feel amazing almost immediately. I've got cans of cod and sardines and fish I don't even know the names of. I've got cans of those. This is an emergency stash, not for the apocalypse, but for the alcohol apocalypse of me wanting to go drink. I crack open that nasty can of sardines, eat that stuff, and boom, my brain is back online. My prefrontal cortex is feeling good. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can think. I can smile. I can breathe. I feel like, wow, I'm awake again. It really, really does a trick. I started digging into this. Like, what is going on with this fish? And it just so happens that the fish is the freaking multivitamin of the earth. It's often packed full of the B vitamins, for example, which you are going to be depleted of when you keep drinking alcohol, and what you need in order to have proper nerve functioning, aka brain functioning, aka prefrontal cortex. And how many more times are we going to get to say prefrontal cortex? Probably 1,000 times. Not my favorite part of the brain. It's kind of boring. It's kind of too reasonable, practical, calculative. But, we need it. Just as a boring father is necessary, or we need the CEO, or maybe a government, depending on your views. We do need this guy to kind of keep things in order so they don't just go into anarchy. Freaking Animal House party pack in the head. Now, so yeah, B12, B1, probably lots of the Bs, some of them honeys, and of course the omega-3s. These are all things that are known to turn on the prefrontal cortex, to lighten up your brain, to reduce inflammation, to nourish you. I still don't know what's in this mysterious creature, this freaking alien gift from the gods that swims underneath the sea, but it works for me. My absolute favorites. And this is for me. I know everyone's going to have different ones, so don't be like, it didn't work for me. It makes me vomit. It makes me poop my pants. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, find your thing. But for me, dude, fish eggs. Fish eggs. In particular, the salmon ones, salmon roe, the Alaskan cod, pollock. In Japan, this comes in the form of tarako or mentaiko. Ooh, I used to hate this stuff. It's like, ew, nasty fish eggs. It's ew. Why would you want to buy that? Why would you even eat it, even if they gave it to you for free? But no, after realizing how great it makes me feel and how quickly it saves me, I'm like, boom, I like it. I like it. I like it. And I'm just so excited about how far this sort of fish journey can take me, how much it can save me. And yeah, and I'm stocking up on those sardines, because that's another one. Even if you have to coat it in some sugary junk or unhealthy sauce or whatever, if that's what it takes to do the trick, to get that stuff, that fishy swimming pool of nutrients down the hatch, then do it. But yeah, if you can just eat it raw, whoo, man. That just might save the day, and that might redirect your future in a whole new way, because I have not felt so alive and so free and so in charge as when I eat fish. Some other potential foods that might work for you, yeah, of course, all the healthy things like vegetables and healthy fats from olive oil or MCT oil or blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, you're not probably going to want to even be able to eat this stuff whenever you're really craving alcohol, but if you can, boom, just do it. Just knuckle it through. Just put it down there like a nasty medicine that the kid has to take, and no, I'm not gonna take it. No, I hate you, mommy. And give it to him, and then he's all better and happy and playing outside, free, creative himself once again, and then learn to like it, like that kid who eats his vegetables and smiles along the way. Social connection is another thing that drives us towards alcohol. We might not consciously think it out, but we often go out in order to connect with other people, to make friends, to connect with the opposite sex, to have sex, to get a girlfriend or boyfriend, or to relieve this loneliness. We are mammals. We need social connection. We need to have the safety of being with others. And yeah, we also are creatures that need to procreate and pass on our genes. Of course, we're definitely not consciously thinking about this. And if you are, you're a total sciencey weirdo. But that's what's running the show. We are social creatures. And when we are socially isolated, we are alone for too long, when we feel we do not belong, yeah, we might take the easy road, drink some alcohol, go to that bar, go to that club, forget about all these problems that we have, that we do have no one we can trust, no one who we can rely on, no one we can sleep with, no one we could hug. But for tonight, we do have it until we wake up and we are further down in that ditch, away from other human beings. So find some social connection in another way that's maybe not as enticing, doesn't give you that quick social spike immediately, but still is pretty nice. Maybe you can call your best friend or a random friend, a fun friend, your brother, your sister, your father, your grandfather, someone you enjoy talking to. Just pop on a video call, the phone, Zoom, whatever. Meet them in person. Do whatever's easiest. Even if you're far away, technology can help you connect. You might be like, dude, I don't want to freaking go on Zoom with my grandpa. I want to chug a freaking whiskey highball. Yeah, that could do the trick as well. But it's your choice. There are also communities. There are alcohol sobriety communities like Tribe Sober, which I just appeared as a guest on. Woo! Fantastic place there with Janet. Check that out. I'll put that in the show notes. And there are others. Of course, there is the classic AA path. Never tried it. Sounds a bit too culty for me. I don't think I have that kind of problem, but it might work for you. You might like it. It'll at least give you that social connection, which might be the biggest thing it provides. But you might not need that. Like I said, there are things like Tribe Sober, but even without that, you can just engage yourself on LinkedIn. Start talking to people there. Join meetup events. Use another social media. I heard Twitter X is not the best path, so find one that actually works. But I say any of them, online or offline, are probably better than this sort of delusionary social connection you get from alcohol. And plus, by not drinking, you're going to get more sleep, you're going to look better, you're going to feel better, you're going to think better, you're going to start improving various areas of your life, you'll probably be making more money, you'll just generally be more attractive, you'll, in the long run, probably make better friends. You will actually find that mate, that partner to be with, so you don't crave alcohol as much because you don't crave social connection because you got too much of it. Maybe you want to get away from the people now you got other problems. Woo! So find your community online or offline. Use technologies like video calls and phones and perhaps virtual reality to give you that quick fix, to quickly connect you with somebody, even if it's a stranger, even if it's a little modern version of AOL chat, AIM. So yeah, connected to this is the need for sex. There's no way around this for most people. You could just turn off that desire, turn off that need, never fulfill it, but it seems like a hard one. I don't know which is worse, alcohol or pornography, but I guess if you had to choose between the two, yeah, maybe just pop out some porn and, put in that VHS. No, I mean, use your phone that you don't care about getting porno viruses on and crack that bad boy out and whack away into the night. But, I mean, this is probably a Saturday or Friday, you're about to go out drinking, and instead you stay home and whack off. That doesn't seem much better, but yeah, like I said, it might be the short-term Band-Aid that is better than this alcohol Band-Aid that might gradually help lead you toward more healthy ways to actually fulfill this desire for this need for sex. How you go about that? I don't know. That's a whole podcast series in itself, right? But just recognize that you might not be going out there for the alcohol. You might not be grabbing that drink because of the alcohol itself, but because it's a gateway into sex, and you're trying to meet girls, you're trying to meet dudes. Maybe you're too shy or scared to talk to them without the alcohol, or you aren't able to disentangle that venue, the alcohol venue, from the alcohol. You want to go to the bar, you want to go to the club, you want to go to the event, but this is a drinking place, so you got to drink there. Maybe you can go to these places without alcohol. You can just go there and drink something that looks like alcohol. It tastes pretty yummy, something like tonic water or delicious premium juice or tea. Just go there anyway. Or find non-alcohol events, non-alcohol venues, non-alcohol friends that can maybe connect you to that lady of your life, love of my life. I met her in a bar, sipping on a grape juice. Her lips became purple, and my heart became pink. My heart lit up in 1,000 colors, sparkling diamonds and butterflies in the sky. Touch. Touch is another one. Sometimes we think we want alcohol, but we really just want touch. Think about when you're going out to those bars and clubs and anywhere where people are drinking, they're rubbing around, bumping into each other, grazing their arms against one another, strangers getting free touchies, slapping asses, grabbing dongs. No. That's not what happens there. It could, but yeah, that's not what we're talking about here. Just general kind of bumping around and touching one another, the physical proximity that increases when you are drinking out there in the night. We tend to get closer to each other. We tend to naturally touch one another, even if we don't actually trust or know one another. In that moment of alcohol, we do weirdly trust others more. We get closer, we touch them, we smile, we laugh. There's that human contact. This really goes back to that earlier point of social connection, but it's sort of a subtopic within there, which is touch. So find other ways to fulfill that need for touch that doesn't require alcohol. There's the touching of the alcohol on your lips, going through your body. We're not talking about that, but there is that too. You can touch something else on your lips, touch something else on your hands, but we're talking about something deeper, something like, oh, this mammal wants to connect with another mammal, so what can you do? How can you feel that heat, that mammalian touch? Pet a dog, hug a friend. Well, I guess maybe you don't have a friend, and you can't hug them unless you're drunk. High five yourself. Maybe you don't even have a creature to be with. There's no dog. There's no birdie. There's no cat. There's no pet baby hippopotamus. You can still use heat. Cold. I think heat would work better here. Take a hot bath. Go to the sauna. Go to some really nice bath, like a hot spring. That'll freshen you up and provide you with this sort of weird sense of touch. Studies have shown that hot exposure, the heat exposure, saunas, and hot baths, for example, do increase oxytocin, that peptide, that hormone, neurotransmitter that is associated with feelings of trust and belonging and being part of a tribe. So yeah, maybe we just need a little touch. We need to feel trust, and even if that's in the form of a warm blanket or a warm bath or hot sauna air, that works. Maybe you got a pet, like I said. Maybe you could borrow a friend's pet. Maybe you could just get a little stuffed animal for the time being. Hug that thing. Or if you don't have any of that somehow, I don't know, watch people being touched. Watch a movie where people are hugging, and what kind of movie is that? That's a pornographic movie, I would say, and that's not hugging. Hey, they're not wrestling. What are they doing? What is it doing to her? But like I said, just go. You're not going to find the perfect tool, or even if you do find the perfect tool, it might not be accessible. It might not be desirable in the moment of craving. So just settle for not even 80%, settle for 20%, settle for 10%, settle for 1% better, and just move your way into that perfect tool, whether it be a glass of water or a loving husband or wife or a walk through nature, a perfect night's sleep, a bucket of fish eggs. We might not be able to have that right away. This takes time. Time for it to become attractive, but also time for it to become accessible. You can also get a massage. Got to pay for that one, unless you have someone who's going to give you a freebie. But I mean, maybe you could buy a back scratcher. I have a back scratcher. I use that thing. Foam roller. Exercise itself is going to sort of get things moving around too. So let's talk about movement. This is a really funny, strange way of thinking about it, but maybe the desire to drink is masking the desire to simply move, to move our body. We sit around so much throughout the day, at our desk, on our sofa, but we crave movement. We crave walking, moving, using our body. And getting the alcohol requires us to get off our butt and go outside, to use our legs, to move. We think we're going towards the alcohol, that's what we want, but really it's a rationalization for this much more basic need and desire. Movement, the basis of most of life. The thing that brings us toward all of our other needs. Think about the nightlife. People are dancing, moving, running around. If you have a Fitbit or Apple Watch or something like that, some fitness tracker, you might notice that weirdly, on the nights that you drank, you got the most steps in. You're like, what the hell? 40,000 steps? I didn't even go anywhere. Well, you're walking between this bar and that bar and running around and dancing and going everywhere, getting another drink, going back to the store. I guess this is more true in cities in Asia or big cities where you can bounce between venues without a car. But even then, that car's parked there throughout the night, but you're walking from the bathroom to this side of the bar, to that table, to this table, running around the club, chasing things, frolicking around and dancing. Yeah, so you move more. But you can solve this problem very easily without alcohol. Just literally go for a walk, or run, or go to the gym, exercise, play a sport. Move your body in any way. Just jump in the air. Get a jump rope in your room. Put that in the fridge where the brewski used to be. Get a trampoline, little baby rebounder. Jump on that thing. See how you feel. See if you still want to drink. And this starts to bring me to another point is a lot of actions and experiences and substances are going to fulfill more than one need, multiple needs. So when we are trying to find replacements for alcohol, yes, you could use 10 different things to fulfill each of the 10 different things that is driving you towards that alcohol, because oftentimes it's not a simple one thing. It's not like you're just thirsty or you're just horny or just lonely or sleepy or lacking in touch or whatever. It's often like a lot of these things pile on top of one another. You need the nutrients. You need this vitamin, that vitamin, this mineral, water, and you need love, but you also need sex, but you also need a friend. You also need to move on and on. The beautiful thing about alcohol is it can kind of basically fulfill all of these needs simultaneously. It's like a 10 out of 10. Say you've got these 10 needs you need to fulfill. Alcohol's going to, boom, knock them all out instantly. At least it's going to give you that sort of simulation, give you that feeling of success, of all those problems being solved. Yeah, and it might not be 10 needs, it might be 2, it might be 20, really depends on you. Try to first identify what are these things that are missing in my life. Maybe they're missing in your life just in this moment, in this hour of the day, or it might be something bigger. Maybe they're missing in your life always. It's a chronic problem. You just literally have no friends. You're never being touched. You never drink enough water, etc. And then start trying to address those. Join a gym. Get that waterman to bring that big old juggy thing delivered to your door. Get a pet. Join some social group, whatever. Plant the seeds. But yeah, in the moment, there are short-term hacks that are less dangerous than alcohol. And you can either combine multiple different things, say drink the water and eat the fish, and have sex with a stranger, and then fall in love with another person, and then go to sleep by yourself, and do all these things separately. That'll work. But if you combine these things, then it's like, boom, you basically got a perfect replacement for alcohol. Imagine you've got something that gives you water and vitamins and minerals and sex and social connection and allows you to sleep and allows you to touch and move and all these other things that we're going to talk about. And boom, that's my anti-alcohol. That's my antidote. That's it. That thing is going to be it. That's going to work. So it makes sense why we gravitate towards things like relationships, because relationships are going to give us a lot of that. But it doesn't need to be the jackpot, the perfect package. You could just mix and match. So for example, we were talking about movement. Movement often also engages the need for social connection, especially if we're playing a sport or if we're going to a gym or we're running outside, we're hiking. There are ways to make exercise, make movement more social. And by making it more social, now we're hitting down 2 dominoes, and that's going to feel doubly as pleasurable. And if you can bring in more and more into that picture, then it's like, okay, yeah, this is an amazing thing. It's going to become more attractive, and it's going to help replace that craving much more easily. So maybe bring some water to the gym. Go somewhere where you can talk to people if that's what you need. Maybe where there's lots of hot ladies or hot dudes, potential mates and things there. This will definitely help pull your attention away from the alcohol and towards this other place. You could even write out a checklist. Okay, how many of these needs is this thing fulfilling? How can I craft an experience that's going to give me all of these? Or what is the combination of things that might work? And you don't need to fulfill all these needs. Just do something that's actually solving one of your underlying problems, and then go from there. You don't need to smash it all in one big hit. You don't need a home run, a grand slam, but yeah, a grand slam, a jackpot is going to be more attractive in the moment. So the more enticing you can make it, the more perks you can throw in there, I say the better. Otherwise, just mix and match and do different things in sequence or simultaneously or whatever. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is sleep. Sometimes you just literally are sleepy, and so you weirdly want to drink alcohol. It's like, what? I'm sleepy, so I want to drink alcohol? Yeah, alcohol will wake you up. It'll turn down those stress hormones, things like cortisol and adrenaline. Temporarily, it'll relax you. It'll make you feel like, oh, yeah, my brain is all cleared out. There's no more trash in there. I'm awake. I'm rested. I'm ready to go. But then, an hour into that, or 30 minutes, or however long it takes for you, however many more drinks you take, after 2 drinks or 3 drinks or 5 drinks or whatever, that's going to bounce back in the other direction. You're going to get sleepy. You're going to get the stress back. Adrenaline, cortisol, glutamate, it's all coming for you. It's going to slam you into the ground. Payback time. The revenge of reality. So what do you do when you're feeling you want to drink? What I do is I just take a nap. A nap is always an attractive thing, right? Get that warm little blanket there. You fall asleep. It feels good. Feels cozy. Yeah, it might not seem as enticing as a sip of brew, a sip of vodka, whatever your favorite beverage is, whatever it is that you want right now. That would just do the trick. But it's not that hard to convince yourself to take a nap, right? Looking at that bed, just look at that bed. Ooh, look how good that looks. And just plop down, close your eyes, fall asleep for 10 minutes. Just lay there. Maybe fall asleep for the night. Maybe do it again and again. And then watch how your perception towards alcohol changes. You're going to be like, I don't really need that anymore. I don't want that anymore. I'm good. I'm rested. So again, naps are a great trick. You could also just meditate or close your eyes, rest in whatever way you can. Even if you can't take a nap, you're at work or whatever. Like, you're not getting drunk at work, are you? Has it gotten that bad? Find something to allow you to rest. Maybe just breathe in a more relaxing manner. Focus on the exhales. Sigh. Look out the window, look at the sky. Just find some way to relax and take a kind of rest. If you can actually get in bed and close your eyes and really shut down that brain and let it recharge and let it clean itself out, yeah, do that. Take a nap. Go to bed. That'll do the trick. It seems to be one of the best ones for me. So far, the ones that I really like of the things I've mentioned are tonic water. There's something about it. The fish and the naps. Those are probably my top three, but find yours. Another need that we are going towards that alcohol seems to provide is this sense of possibility and randomness and chaos, and risk and adventure and novelty and surprise, all that craziness of our life is so predictable and it's so routine that we want something new to happen in our life. We want to open up new possibilities. And it's like when we drink, we somehow, because this prefrontal cortex is shut off, that's part of what alcohol does. It really shuts that thing down and puts you down into that limbic mode of habits and impulses and routines and desires and instant pleasures. But the good thing about that being shut down is, a part of the system is running on autopilot based on what worked in the past. It's these habits and routines, but it's also like there's things that we normally would want to do, but the prefrontal cortex tells us, no, don't. That's not a good idea. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get rejected. You're going to get in trouble, on and on, which it should be doing because oftentimes that's correct. But sometimes it's like overly protective, and it's like, no, don't, and we play it too safe. The prefrontal cortex is turning us into a risk-averse, boring, predictable being. So swig down some alcohol, bust up the PFC, and let the party break loose. Open up the possibilities. Open up the randomness, the craziness, the risk and adventure. I mean, I moved to Japan when I was drunk. I couldn't have done that if I was sober, I don't think. That was my rationality at the time anyway. And it seemed to have worked. You imagine how many amazing people you might meet tonight. Oh, maybe tonight's the night when I meet that girl. Oh, maybe tonight's my lucky night when I get laid, when I find that dude who's going to give me my perfect job, my perfect life. How am I going to find these people and these opportunities and these possibilities and this craziness without alcohol? Alcohol's like this roll the dice. I can roll these dice and I can just win the game. What am I going to get? Surprise pack. We love surprises, and alcohol gives us all this craziness, all these surprises, all this novelty, this feeling of adventure, of possibility, of something new, of life opening up. But there are ways to do that without alcohol. So just recognize, is this what I need? Is this what I crave? Do I need a little bit more adventure, a little bit more chaos and unpredictability and novelty in my life? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's why you're going out. It's not about the touch or the thirst for H2O or the need to move or socially connect or anything like that. Maybe you're not horny, none of that. You just literally need to get crazy. You need to get wild. You need something new. You need randomness and possibility and chaos. Find a way to craft that for yourself. And as with all of these things I'm talking about today, you don't need to find the perfect one. Just find something. Find something that's like, ooh, that'll do it. Like I said, maybe it's just a new drink, a new non-alcoholic drink that is like random. Like, what the hell is this? I never even tasted this before. Some new food, some new restaurant. Maybe it's a new book. You probably don't want to read. A book probably does not replace a beer, but maybe some Netflix, watching a new movie, just binge watching a series. I know these are not the healthiest things. Binge watching pornography, whatever. But like I said, just start where you can start and just get better and better, 1% along the way. Find that risk and adventure and randomness and possibility, the novelty and surprise. Get it, however you can. This is why we love vacations. Maybe just book a vacation. Each time you say no to that alcohol, put some money in a little jar that goes to your vacation fund and be like, ooh, I know I'm not drinking tonight, but I am going to get that novelty and something much more. I'm not just going to get that craziness from that bar downtown that I've been to 100 times, which doesn't actually give me anything new. It's actually kind of predictable, but I think it's going to be different this time somehow, that I'm going to get lucky, I'm going to get laid, whatever. But you're probably not. It's probably going to be another little drunk groundhog night. Book a vacation. That's going to whack this out of the ballpark, right? Go somewhere totally new, a different continent, where there's a different language, where you can't even understand the culture or the norms. Go somewhere beyond your normal boundaries and experiences. Book that trip. It doesn't need to require an airplane. You could just drive your car down to the dinosaur museum or the beach that you've never been to. But make it something novel, something you haven't experienced, something that gives you that surprise and that chaos. Like, whoa, what is this doing? It's mixing me up. It's bringing something new into my life. Find that. It might be hard to achieve this in your hometown, but I'm sure there are places you can go to. It might be hard to achieve this through Netflix. You've already watched everything. It's all kind of become predictable. Music has become mundane. But find something. Maybe try new technology. Buy a virtual reality headset. Get drunk on that for the next few months until you forgot about the alcohol. As with all of these things I'm talking about today, it's all up to you. I can say what works for me, but I don't know what works for you. So find your foods, find your ways to move, find your sources of novelty and adventure with a little dash of risk. Go there, do that. That'll do the trick. And stack this one on top of the others. You can do that. You can stack it on top of you can perhaps go on a vacation with some random new chick you've never met. Be like, hey, nice to meet you. You want to go to Fiji with me? Let's go. Woo, let's go. And then you fall in love and you have babies and you're hugging and getting extra sleep because you got free time and you're in that comfy bed next to the ocean, drinking that lime water, eating fresh vegetables, fish caught that morning. Oh, yeah. Try it. I mean, yeah. Like I'm saying, you're not going to do these crazy things. You're not going to go on some random vacation to Fiji and have this like weird life where you're going fishing in the morning and sucking on coconuts and nipples and things. But yeah, maybe if that might be better than alcohol. I mean, if she's down, he's down, whatever, go. And that's maybe too much risk, right? I'm going to go there, stranger. Oh, okay. Go there by yourself. Go there with your friend. Go there with your mother. I don't know. How do you want to do it? But you need thrill. You need novelty and adventure and chaos in your life. And shake things up in whatever way you can. Maybe you got to quit your job. Maybe you got to move your house. Maybe you got to break up with your current girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. Rearrange your furniture. I don't know. Find ways to make things new. And speaking of new, I should move on from this topic because you're like, dude, I get it. Stimulation in the form of noise, light, touch is one of them we already talked about. Stimulation in general is also something we are seeking. Sometimes things are just too quiet, too calm, too silent and relaxed. This touches on some of the earlier points of touch and possibility and novelty. But one thing that alcohol seems to bring us into is an environment that is more stimulating. Brighter lights, louder noises, more information entering our nervous system through our eyes and ears and mouth and skin, everything. So although we don't really like that bombardment of the senses that spikes our adrenaline and dopamine and cortisol and everything, we kind of like it. We're like, it's why people perhaps drink way too many coffees or snort cocaine or go skydiving or something. It's like, Six Flags Magic Mountain. Someone while chugging a liter of cola, going loop-de-loop with a fruit roll-up in your mouth, and EDM blasting through your ears. Yeah, sometimes we want that. I know it's not the healthiest thing, but yeah, whatever. I don't know why. Why do humans like this? Why do we like it? I don't know, but we do. So find another way to get stimulated. Maybe listen to some music. Maybe go to a concert. Turn up the noise. Get a little strobe light in your room or some glow sticks and throw yourself a little dance party with you and your dog. I don't know. Maybe just walk through the busy city night without drinking. Motorcycles and horns blasting in your ears. Advertisements and billboards lighting up your eyes, cracking you out. Maybe you want to go somewhere a little bit more positive, though. If it's wintertime, maybe you can see some Christmas lights. If it's summertime, you can go out into nature. That's stimulative in the most calming, healthy way. The sun glowing in the sky, the trees blowing in the wind, the birds chirping, the mosquitoes poking your skin, the peach in your mouth, the wind in your lungs, go out there. Go to nature. I can list off like 1,000 more stimulating activities or places, but I don't need to. Video games, pornography, although I say it's right up there with alcohol. You don't want to replace one addiction with another. Ideally, you want to get things that are just not addictive. They just fulfill the needs and then go home, and they don't become habits and routines, addictions, things. But yeah, stimulation. Maybe you can get like a little whip and you can whip yourself. That'll be stimulating, right? Pour some hot wax on your nipples. I don't know. Do whatever is there for you. Try to make it as healthy as you can, however you want to interpret that word. I would say nature, Christmas lights, a concert, an amusement park, travel, once again. There are lots of safe, healthy, sustainable ways to stimulate our nervous system. And yeah, maybe it's not stimulation that you need. Maybe it's you want to calm down. And alcohol will help you calm down. It's going to flood your brain with GABA, turning down those neurons, turning down the activity, relaxing you. But there are other ways to do this, right? Breathing exercises, focusing on the exhale, slowing down, using the diaphragm. But honestly, I like using those intercostal muscles in the rib cage too. So chest breathe, whatever does the trick for you, whatever helps you calm down. Meditation, sleep, nap time, hot springs, bath time, humming, chanting, singing, karaoke. Do that. Whatever calms you down. For me, breathing is a big one. Just closing my eyes, shutting things off, turning down the temperature. Cold, putting myself in a cold environment, using the air conditioner, turning down the lights, making things dark. Yeah, things like massage and hug and holding hands and kumbaya. These things also work. Find what helps you calm you down. This stuff has been covered in lots of other podcasts and books and things. Find those and you're good to go. Okay, just a couple more things I want to talk about. This kind of is touching on the topic I just now talked about, but cortisol, adrenaline, stress, trauma. There's this whole package of things that we're trying to escape that are useful because they push us into action. They keep us safe, away from danger, and help us get the things we need. They play along with our good old friend dopamine, but sometimes they don't turn off, and we're just like overly stimulated in active mode. In this active mode that we cannot turn off. So we want to turn down the stress. We want to turn off that cortisol. We're like, we just want to relax. Alcohol is a way to do this, but there are other ways to do that. Exercise, meditation. I just listed these things. This is kind of the same point as I just now did, so I'm going to skip this one for now. But yeah, recognize that you might just be trying to reduce that pain, that cortisol, that stress. And the alcohol, while it will do that in the short term, in the long term, and not even long term, very soon, 2 hours in, it's going to create more cortisol and stress. It's going to wake you up and have that heart pounding and stress you out, and even into the next day and days. Hangover, a week of a hangover. And if not that, at least a foggy brain and a stressed out life. Anything that's going to quickly relieve all the stress, so quickly, so perfectly, it's going to bring on more stress later. So play the long game. Meditate, take a nap, breathe. Do these small, tiny little actions that over time bring you to where you need to go. Calm down your system, float you into those clouds, stress-free, cortisol-free, ready to relax, ready to sleep. And the last one I want to talk about is having a goal or a project. I noticed that in my life, it's when I had no goal in particular, that I had nothing I really cared about, that I drank more. One is a way to distract myself, because if I wasn't drunk, I'd have too much energy and too much time. And what the hell do you do with that? I packaged my lack of goals together with a goal that worked together with alcohol. Engaging in pleasure in general, seeking the opposite sex, counting how many women I could sleep with, whatever. And then that sort of cheap set of goals worked in concert with alcohol. Alcohol seemed to help me with those things, those mundane goals that I was sort of chasing, but really I was wandering around doing nothing. If you have something that you care about in life, some goal that you really care about, a big goal that motivates you to go down a certain path into the future, then you won't really need alcohol anymore. Alcohol puts you into motion. It pulls you along in random directions, chasing pleasures, basically instant gratifications throughout the night. Ooh, this hot dog. Ooh, that girl. Ooh, that song. Ooh, what's over here? What's over there? Novelty, fun, pleasure, all good stuff. But these are not things if you're choosing. These are things that you like because you've inherited this brain partially from dinosaurs that knows what feels good, and it's just roaming through that Jurassic Park, gnawing on things and slithering down paths not of its own choosing. That's a goal. You can have the goal of a lizard, the goals of a Godzilla, the life of a lizard. That works. It's actually easier, but weirdly more painful. It's when I started, now that I have this podcast, it's very easy not to drink. Because one, I'm learning more about alcohol and the brain and all of these things, which definitely scare me away from this stuff and make me realize that I cannot be the me that I want to be. I cannot do the things that I want to do. I cannot have the brain that allows me to think and remember and to learn and to converse and to connect and all of these things if I'm drinking alcohol. One is a matter of time and energy, but two, it just literally busts my brain. So now, whether this podcast is important or not, whether it's me just sort of mentally jerking off or whatever, I don't know. It is what it is, but it has been saving me from alcohol. It has been saving me from delicious temptations that I do not really like. Things like porn, sex in general. I mean, I like the activity, but I don't want to live for it. Movies, random vacations just for pleasure. Some of these things are actually pretty good things, and some are worse than others. Vacations are great. Movies can be great, but oftentimes I'd find myself just binging on things and doing things and being motivated towards these actions and substances that I might like them, but I like other things better. I like studying. I like learning. I like talking to you guys. I like doing this. Alcohol's great. Movies are great. Even travel is great. None of these things are really horrible. I mean, I could imagine a life of being drunk every day, and I'm just like a drunkard until I'm 90 years old. Well, probably like 60 years old because I die. There's some accident or liver corrosion or something, cancer, etc. Whatever dynamite, it explodes inside me. Whichever stick of dynamite gets lit by the ethanol first. I don't want to self-destruct, not yet. But it is fun to live such a life. There was a time when I thought, yeah, I might just do this forever. I'll just wander drunkenly through Asia until I'm 70 years old, living for today, living for new experiences, seizing the day, killing tomorrow. That's not terrible. That's not a terrible life. But I mean, there are better lives. So you got to think about, what is the life that I want? Is alcohol bringing me there? Is alcohol even allowing the possibility of that person coming into being, of existing, of doing what he says he wants to do? That child inside of yourself waiting to be born, exploding into the vast possibilities he once dreamed of, that he thought you were going to be when you're 37, when you're 40, when you're 45. Did he dream that you were going to be this drunk old, horny, lonely man? Come on, man. But it works. It works. There's lots of good lives. What is the best one for you? Find a goal, find a project that motivates you, that aligns with who you think you are and who you want to be, that if you died 1 week into it, you'd be like, well, at least I tried. I was kind of me for a while. And it doesn't need to be the perfect thing, the thing you're going to do forever. It's just something that you want to do today. Some goal that gets you going now. Hopefully, it'll last more than a day. It might last a week. It might last 2 weeks. And these goals can evolve and morph into new goals and new projects. You start hacking your way through the jungle and seeing where it leads. There might be an ocean there inside, and that camel turns into a boat, and the boat turns into an airplane. And yeah, you thought you were going to be a farmer, but now you're an astronaut. You thought you were going to be a writer, but now you're an actor. You thought you were going to be a father, but now you're just a friend. It's not about A. It's not about XYZ. It's about the whole journey, but going down it. Pursuing actions, purposeful actions. Pursuing down a path that feels right. That you don't know where it's going to go. But I think we're getting warmer. Getting warmer and warmer and warmer and hot. You're it. And yeah, you might slip into the alcohol quicksand. The booze might sometimes come raining down. But do what you can. You will get attacked by alligators and flamingos, bumblebees and hornets. You will be alone and scared and in pain sometimes. You might tumble down the mountain and have to start back again. But when you're drinking alcohol, you know where you're going to go. You're just running circles around base camp. Maybe playing around over here and running around over there, getting nice, tasty, pleasurable people, objects, and things. But where are you going? So before you go out drinking, when you're in the grips of those alcohol cravings, ask yourself, what is my life about right now? What is my main goal? What is the main thing I want? What do I really, really want? Who do I really want to be? At least right now. And is alcohol just serving as a mask? A blinder? A pseudo goal? Because deep down inside, I don't have any goals. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want to do or what I want to be, what my life is about. It's really hard to figure that stuff out. What is the meaning of life? What is your life about? What do you want? Where do you want to be in 10 years? You don't got to think so big like that, but think bigger than alcohol. But if alcohol is the best thing you got, I mean, it's better to have a life of meaning with alcohol than to have no meaning at all. Find ways to create more meaning and authenticity in your life. Find bigger projects. Dig into your unconscious and create new goals. Make a project. And when you have that, you'll wake up in the morning fresh and ready to go. And when you have to choose between this night out or this life of purpose, a life of consumption versus a life of creation, then it might be easier to not open that foggy fridge of beer. You can draw a heart with your finger on that foggy glass and then cross it out with an X and run away with a healthier drink and a healthier person in your hands. A life merging toward your being. A future you merging toward the present. Okay, thank you for listening to my long little rant about alcohol and how to avoid the cravings and what to do. Basic takeaway is, yeah, there are lots of deep down hidden needs that we have that alcohol is disguising itself as fulfilling, and it does perhaps, but there are other ways to fulfill these needs. First, you got to recognize, what is it that I really need? Is it sleep? Is it hydration? Is it nutrition? Is it social connection, sex, trust, risk, adventure, possibility, novelty, surprise, stimulation, relaxation, calm, reduction of stress and cortisol, a goal and a project, some meaning in my life. And there are 100 other hidden needs that I couldn't even discover. But ask yourself before you go out to drink, before you purchase that beer or bottle of whiskey or whatever, what is it I really need? And is there another source or series of sources that could equally fulfill this. Maybe not in one big gulp, but yeah, it might take 10 more minutes or 2 more years, but I will have fulfilled all of these needs. I will have gotten everything I wanted, become who I wanted to be, solve these problems without alcohol. It's possible. Make a list of these hidden, unconscious desires and needs. Bring them into consciousness, write them down on paper, and make a list of alternatives. I mentioned some for myself. Things like fish, tonic water, hot springs, travel. Jump rope. That's another one I forgot to mention. Jump rope, trampolines, naps, and there are lots more. Find these, do them, and watch the alcohol cravings fade away until they're no longer even felt, no longer even seen. They're phantoms from the past. Dead memories that no longer possess you, control you. Push the buttons down there in your little dinosaur brain, the basal ganglia and ventral tegmentum and all those little guys down there in the midbrain, in the mesolimbic reward pathway, where dopamine swims and impulses, desires, pleasures, and routines exist. The more you do all these healthy activities, start fulfilling your needs in ways that actually solve your problems and bring you where you need to go, you're going to start lighting up that prefrontal cortex, where willful action, conscious decision-making, future planning, free will ride you to where you want to go. The more you sleep, the more you have safe social connection and become a safe social person yourself by sleeping and by hydrating, getting all the vitamins and minerals you need, moving, exercising, all of these things, getting those omega-3s, the B9s, taking some nice breaths, getting touched, getting laid, getting your dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin, endorphins, all that good stuff. They're healthy, sustainable sources and actions. Taking the slow ride home to happiness. Not the alcohol bungee jump that snaps and breaks your back and flings you into the clouds and slams you into the ground. No, take the hiking path up there. Don't skydive down into happiness. Hang glide through the clouds. Okay, that's all for now. I hope this helps. Have a good weekend. Boost it up if you need to, but if you'd rather not, then use some of these ideas and tricks to take you where you really need to go. High five, non-alcohol kampai. See you later. Later, sober gators. In a while, dry crocodile.